All right, now we're going to look at whole number division. We're just taking two numbers and dividing them. What division basically means is you're taking a total and putting it into groups. So kind of like multiplication was saying, like 3 times 4 is 3 groups of 4. Then you add them up. This division is just saying we now have the total and we're just splitting it back up into so many groups and seeing how much are in each one. So let's say we had 12 of something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we're splitting them up into groups of 3. So here's a group of 3. Here's a group of 3. Here's a group of 3. And here's a group of 3. How many groups do we have in total? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups. So 12 divided by 3 equals 4. You're just splitting them up into groups. So you can either say, well, we want to split it up into groups of 3, so 3, 3, 3, 3, and see how many groups there are. Or another way to think of it is split it up into 3 groups. So here is one group. Here is one group. And here is one group. How many are in each group? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 in each group. If you split it into 3 groups, there will be 4 in each group. So 2 different ways to think about your most basic division problems. Okay, now we're going to look at one that's a little bit bigger. We don't want to make 96 dots and then split them into 4 different groups. So we're going to do a little bit longer approach here. Now 96 is called your dividend. That's the total number. 4 is called your divisor. That's how many groups you're splitting it into. And then the quotient is your answer. That's how many there would be in total then, or how many would be in each group. If you have a total of 96 and you put them into 4 groups, the quotient is how many is in each group, or the answer here. So this is how your division algorithm will look. You take your dividend, that total, and you put it underneath this little box. It's kind of a sideways L. Your divisor, 4, will go on the outside. Now, you won't always see division problems written like this. You might see them 96 divided by 4. You might see them written this way a lot. Again, dividend goes on top, divisor on bottom. This is 96 divided by 4. 4 on the outside, 96 on the inside. Now to do your division algorithm, you're going to do this 4 into each digit separately. So 4 goes into 9 how many times? Well, if you count by 4s, 4, 8, 12, 16, and so on, the closest number you can get to without going over 9 would be 8. And that's 2 different 4s. So 4 goes into 9 2 times, and 2 times 4 makes that 8. So 4, 9, write the 2 up here, 2 times 4, write the 8 down here. Now we're going to subtract. 9 minus this 8 leaves a leftover of 1. Now we need to bring this 6 down. That gives us this number, 16. The 1 from over here, the 6 that we brought down. 4 goes into 16 how many times? Kind of like how we did with the 9, but now we're doing it with 16. Well, 4 goes into 16 exactly 4 times, because 4 times 4 makes 16. So we're going to do the same thing. Subtract this number from this number. 6 minus 6 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So we're left with 0. We've used all of these digits, and we have a remainder of 0 left over. So 4 goes into 96 24 times. If you took 96 dots and you split them into 4 groups, each group would have 24. Or if you had 96 dots and you split them into groups of 4, there would be 24 groups. So 96 divided by 4 equals 24. Let's do the same thing with a little bit larger dividend and a larger divisor. Okay, we're setting this up the same exact way. Now, 12 as a 2-digit number can't go into a 1-digit number, 1. So above that, we need to put in a 0. 12 does not go into 1 at all. So we don't go through the process of 0 times 12 is 0 and so on. We can just move on to the next number. 12, we're not looking at 2, we're looking at all of this here. 12 goes into 12 one time. 1 times 12 makes the 12, and now we subtract. 12 minus 12 will come out to 0, so now is when we need to bring down this 4. 12 again won't go into 4, so we put a 0 up here. So we could go through the process of saying 0 times 12 would be a 0, and then subtract 4 minus 0 is 4, and then bring down the 8. We could do it that way, or you could just say, well, if 12 doesn't go into 4, I'm just going to jump the gun and go right to dropping down the 8. Call it 48 right here, because guess what? It's going to be a 48 right here. So you can just save yourself a step if you want to. If you don't want to and you want to go through this process, that is okay. Now that we have 48, either here or here, doesn't matter, 12 goes into 48. I'm going to go from here 4 times, because 4 times 12 comes out to 48. Now when you subtract, 48 minus 48 leaves a remainder of 0. We've used all of our digits up, so 1,248 divided by 12 comes out to exactly 104.